What's good, y'all? It's Solution back at it again with another Mental Gym video in which I give you guys frameworks you can use to become extremely successful and achieve all the goals that you are after. So let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about Ultra Instinct. That's actually a Dragon Ball Z reference, but what we're going to be talking about today is instinct and why I believe it is really important in helping you achieve all the goals that you are after. So the definition I came up with for this framework in the context of achieving your goals is instinct is basically performing actions that help you achieve your goals without actively thinking about them. Without actively thinking about them, right? And for many of you conceptualizing instinct right now, or you already probably have some idea of instinct when you think about it, where things are just happening automatically or naturally or without effort, right? So what if we apply this to actions that help you achieve your goals, right? It will feel nice to not have to think about certain things that help you achieve your goals and just do them with no effort, with no mental energy wasted. So how do you gain the ability to do this? And that's where we get into today's exercise, right? So the first part of this equation or exercise is character traits. Character traits plus consistency. Consistency, right? So essentially, an action, for example, that you'd want to perform that helps you achieve your goals is focus, or being focused, or a character trait that you'd want to have when it comes to achieving your goals is being focused, or being disciplined, or being patient, for example, right? And imagine you could just do these things automatically. You don't have to think about being disciplined. You don't have to think about being focused. You don't have to think about being patient. You just are, right? You do it automatically. No mental energy or effort wasted. So the way you're going to get to this point is thinking about them actionably, right? So, actionable. So, for many of my frameworks on my channel, I already talk about some of the things I just listed a second ago, like discipline, focus, and patience. And I've made frameworks on these specific character traits and have made them actionable, meaning there's things that you can do to become disciplined, to become focused, to become patient, because you are what you do. You're not what you say, you're not what you say, and you're not what you want. You are what you do, right? So think about it like this. If you want to be a patient person, it's not just about thinking about being patient. It's about doing what patient people do. It's about doing what focused people do. It's about doing what disciplined people do in the way that it's actionable, right? So you can already go watch my previous framework videos that I've made about the actionability of these character traits. So you can take the exercises I've made in those videos, be like, okay, this is actionable for me now. And then we move into step 2 of this, which is consistency. Because you see, instincts don't just come automatically. Most of us were not born with the instinct or the ability to just be disciplined without thinking, to be focused without thinking, right? To be patient without thinking, to be charismatic without thinking, right? Many of us, right, we actually had to do what these types of people do in order to get to a point where we don't have to think about doing it. So by consistency, I mean doing the actionable thing or the character trait actionably, consistently, doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Let's take a different example, something that I haven't made a framework for, which I just mentioned, which is charisma or being charismatic. So I want to be charismatic because being charismatic might help you achieve one of your goals, right? So let's say you want to be charismatic. You're like, okay, I want to be charismatic. Well, I can't just think about being charismatic, right? So what do charismatic people do? Well, when I've seen someone who I've described as charismatic, whenever they walk into a room of people, they always address everyone. They're always like, hello, everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing when they walk into a room? So that means the actionable thing I can do to develop my charisma character trait and make it instinctive is whenever I walk into a room, I should address everyone loudly. I address everyone loudly. And then what do? I do that consistently, meaning consistently when I walk into rooms, I address everyone. And then think about this, guys. Over time, if every single time you walk into a room, you address everyone, you're going to have the character trait of charisma because you have done the thing multiple times to the point that it's just automatic for you to do it. It feels natural. Another example of this is think about if you're a basketball player and you practice your 3-point shooting day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. You just keep doing it. And then when you enter a game, when somebody passes you the ball, you shoot it. Well, when someone passes you the ball and you're opened, you shoot it automatically without even thinking about it. Why? Because you have done it so many times. It's a part of your character. It becomes unconscious. And that's where it gets to the point without actively thinking. Because if you're actively thinking, it means it's conscious. But if you don't even spend a second thinking about it, it's unconscious. Similarly, for another example, when you drive a car. Think about the first time you ever learned how to drive. You were like, okay, hand on 10 and 2. Let me make sure I steer, check this mirror, check that mirror, turn the car slowly, signal. Like you were thinking about every single step, right? You were using a ton of mental energy and effort and actively thinking while driving. But after you consistently kept driving over and over and over and over and over again, you just now hop in a car and start going somewhere. You don't even think about putting hand on 10 and 2. You probably don't even drive with 10 and 2 anymore. You just be, they see me rolling, they hate. Like you literally just chilling now because it's become instinctual. It's just instinctive. So for character traits that are valuable to you, right? For character traits like being disciplined and focused and patient, those kind of character traits, if you want to have those things automatically, you don't have to think about being disciplined anymore. You don't have to think about being focused anymore. You don't have to think about being patient, charismatic, extroverted, assertive. When you don't have to think about these things anymore because you make them actionable, right? Because that's essentially what I do with all my frameworks, right? The frameworks I give you is me thinking of a concept like instinct and making it into an exercise that becomes actionable for you guys so you can have the thing that will help you achieve your goal. And you can do this on your own without me giving you a framework video too. Obviously, it's just helpful and easier for you if I do the work for you and then you just take the exercise and do your thing. But for you personally, let's say I haven't made a video on how to be charismatic, as I mentioned earlier, right? Then just you have to see a charismatic person and instead of just thinking, okay, they're charismatic, man, I'll never be charismatic, or just being down on yourself or having a limiting belief that people are just born charismatic, you could then instead look at someone who's charismatic because you want to be charismatic too and be like, what is this person doing? What is the action that they are taking, right? And then you essentially take that action and then you do it consistently. You do that same action, and by consistency, I mean doing the same thing over and over again. You do that charismatic thing, as I mentioned earlier. Whenever you walk into that room, you address everyone. You address everyone. You do this as many times as you possibly can. And then before long, you'll be able to do it without actively thinking, and people will describe you as a charismatic person. So boom, a trait that before you were like, I'll never have that, you had made it actionable, right? You made it to where you can do the trait. It becomes the instinct because you did it consistently. And that is how you develop your instincts with pretty much anything, guys. Because character traits are just skills. When somebody is described in a certain way, it's just a skill. When someone is described as calm, the actionable thing there is probably when something crazy happens or something that is viewed as surprising happens, the person does not show any emotional reaction or outlandish emotional reaction. So they are calm, right? So if I also, when I see something that is normally very surprising or outlandish or pops out at me, and I just choose not to react, I am a calmer person. People will describe me as calm. And I love talking about this kind of stuff because it makes literally the world and all types of character traits become this labyrinth or a library where you can figure out how to become whatever way you want, how to make literally any character trait instinctive, because you, instead of looking at things as they are, like you are charismatic, you are focused, you are disciplined, you think about it, how can I do those things to get the character trait? Instead of you either have the character trait or you don't. It's more, I do these things so I am. I do so I am. Because in order to be, you must do, right? Someone can only describe you as focused or disciplined after you have done something that grants you that description. Nobody can describe you in a way without an action first. You must perform an action and then people will describe you, right? And this is how you can develop character traits that you think may be valuable, because that you think may be valuable to achieving whatever goal that you want to achieve, right? And then have it become instinctive to where you're not even thinking about it. You don't even have to put any mental effort into really doing it. And who wouldn't want just a ton of good instincts that serve their goals, where you don't even have to think about it? So yeah, so that is pretty much my interesting, I guess, framework on how to develop instinct or make actions, almost make yourself do actions that are automatic without you having to think about it. And the way you do this is you take the character trait that you want, like being a disciplined person, being a focused person, being a patient person, being a charismatic person, being a calm person, being an extroverted person, and then you make it actionable, right? You make it actionable. And the way you do this is, to write real quick too, you think about the do, right? Right? You think about what somebody who's like this does. What do they do? What are the actions that they do that I can just copy? Because if I just do what they are doing consistently, it will become a part of me. And if it is a part of you, right, then that means you do it without actively thinking. There is no effort. It is effortless and it is just you. Because when you do, you are. And yeah, that is pretty much instinct for you guys. So please give me feedback on that. Did that make sense? Did that not make sense? Did I need to go in deeper and explain it deeper? Or do you think this is actionable enough for you and you feel like you can use this exercise to think about character traits, make them actionable, and do them consistently so you can develop your instincts? Please let me know down in the comment section. And of course, please like the video so more guys can see this, develop their own instincts that will allow them to achieve all the goals that they are after. So with that being said, I guess I will catch you guys in the next YouTube video. Peace.